get an idea what they're like.
Hungry, look.
They're like, feed me, feed me.
They're going, eat, eat. No.
Aggressive little suckers, aren't they?
They got big mouths. I think they're catfish, huh?
Mm-hmm. A lot smaller than the one we went on in New Orleans.
It's a lot of mouths.
And I brought another videotape, so.
You could scout what they have in here. But yeah, it looks like perfect snacks.
So you probably get a chocolate martini. Not fast enough.
I wonder who drives the boat.
Yeah.
Most of them around here doesn't look like somebody driving.
Of the National Park Service, the Desert Princess is the largest vessel currently cruising on Lake Mead. On our trip today, we'll travel across a portion of the Boulder Basin of Lake Mead to Black Canyon and Hoover Dam. As we get underway on our excursion, there are a few nautical terms we'd like you to know, and some rules of shipboard behavior we'd like you to follow. The forward section of the Desert Princess is the bow. The rear of the boat, where the paddle wheel is located, is the stern. And that's why the Desert Princess is called the stern wheeler. When you're facing the bow, the right side of the boat is the starboard side, and the left, the port side. You came aboard on the main deck of the Desert Princess. This is where you'll find our galley, main dining area, and the restroom, or to use the nautical term, the heads. The heads are located near the bow area. All of the heads on the Desert Princess are individual and suitable for both men and women. A specially equipped wheelchair accessible head is located on the starboard side, and 3 traditionally equipped heads are on the port side. Above the main deck is the second, or Texas deck. Here you'll find our bar and snack bar, lounge area with additional seating and 2 more heads. The second deck also features an outside walkway with standing room at the bow so you can see where we're going, and at the stern so you can see where we've been. The open area at the stern is also a great place to watch the paddle wheel at work. The top deck, which is also called the Hurricane or Promenade deck, has additional seating and an unobstructed view of the dramatic desert surroundings. I'd like to ask you to please use the trash cans and ashtrays provided, and remind you that there is no smoking allowed inside our enclosed deck areas. Please don't throw any trash or cigarette butts over the side. Remember, here on the lake, we're guests of Mother Nature. Ashore, when you're in a backcountry area, you should leave nothing behind but your footprints. Today on this beautiful lake, let's leave nothing behind but our wake. Now a few words about shipboard safety, and I'd like you boys and girls and your parents to listen very closely. First, there is no running allowed aboard the Desert Princess. Running on board a ship is very dangerous because of wet spots on the metal decks and stairs. These wet spots can be very slippery, and if you're running and hit one of them, you could slip and hurt yourself or fall over the side, and that water is very deep. So boys and girls, please don't run, and always use the handrails when climbing up or down the stairs. And please don't play in the stairwells. Other passengers and the crew are using them to get from deck to deck, and we don't want you to have bumps and bruises because you slipped while playing on the stairs. Now I would like the attention of all passengers. Life jackets are stored in several locations on the Desert Princess. On the main deck, they are under the stairwell near the bow. On the second deck, they are stored next to the stairwell near the bow.
Say hi to Donnell at the snack bar. She'll make sure you get fixed right up. Thank you.
Sections of the older rock were forced up, and on top of the red sand dunes, billions of tons of rock were moved for miles. The violent earth-shaping activity continued now in the form of volcanoes. Molten rock was pushed towards the Earth's surface, where it broke through weak zones in the crust. Fortification Hill, the large glaciers and ice ages, all form the area we see today. I'll be back in a few minutes with more modern history of humans at Lake Mead. Here, native people such as the Southern Paiute once more roamed the desert mountains and valleys. The Paiute adapted to the desert so well that their lifestyle in 1850 was almost identical to that of their ancestors who had lived here 10,000 years earlier. The Paiute roamed in small family groups, harvesting the fruits of the higher desert in the spring, other desert plants in the summer, and gathering together in the nearby mountains in the fall to harvest piñon nuts and to hunt deer and bighorn rapids. Steamboats ran on the Colorado until the start of the 1900s, but with the arrival of the railroad, they became less attractive to business and were ultimately abandoned. While Johnson had proved it was possible to navigate the Colorado to the north, in the 1860s, gold was discovered at El Dorado Canyon and provided a reason for steamboats to go farther north. Gold fever took hold, and mines and settlements were made up and down the river. Gold was found in places like Searchlight and the Kings Basin on what is now the upper end of Lake Mead. Steamer operations saw a brief surge of activity as they brought supplies to the camps along the river. Although most of the mines played out within a few years, some in the area of Catherine on what is now Lake Mojave continued producing up until the start of World War II. While steamboats were plying the lower Colorado, farther upstream, many men, some brave, some foolhardy, explored the upper canyons. John Wesley Powell, a one-armed Civil War veteran, stands above the rest. Powell accomplished what no one else had previously dared when he navigated the mighty Colorado River from the Rockies through the Grand Canyon. Powell and 9 others set out from Green River, Wyoming, in 4 small wooden boats in May of 1869. After enduring dangerous rapids, extreme hunger, and other hardships, not knowing when the canyon and its wild rapids would end, the Powell party split. 3 of his men, believing their only hope for survival was to climb out of the canyon and try to find the Mormon settlements they thought were nearby, left the main party and climbed out of the canyon. The 3 men were never seen again. Powell and the remainder of the group pressed on to the course. 2 days later, arrived at the confluence of the Persian River in Colorado. began in 1931, and the problems faced by its builders were huge. At that time, the nearest power source of sufficient size for the project was 200 miles away in San Bernardino, and the nearest railroad was in what was then the small village of Las Vegas. All construction materials had to be imported. In addition to building the dam, the builder, Six Companies Inc., also had to create a place for the workers to live. This new town, Boulder City, was one of America's first planned cities, and is the only municipality in Nevada where gaming is not allowed. Green Boulder City was actually owned by the federal government until 1961, when it was incorporated as a city in the state of Nevada. Once the railroad systems were in place and the construction materials could be brought to the site, the actual dam construction commenced. Equipment had to be developed to deal with each new problem that arose. The Hoover Dam became the model for dozens of projects that followed. The working conditions were unbelievably harsh. Air temperatures that soared to 120 degrees and powerhouses below the dam, essentially huge, sophisticated water wheels with 17 generators can produce almost 1.5 million kilowatts per hour. The power produced by the dam is distributed to California and Arizona, as well as Boulder City. Hoover Dam is 726 feet tall from the bedrock to its top, and 1/4 mile wide from canyon wall to canyon wall. At its base, it is 660 feet wide, or about as wide as 2 football fields laid end to end, and it narrows to a width of 45 feet at the top. The intake towers are as tall as a 34-story building. The 6.6 million tons of concrete in the dam complex is enough to build a highway 18 feet wide from San Francisco to New York. As you look at the main portion of the dam, the state line marking the Arizona-Nevada border is the black square at the center of its span. The small towers are elevators